Hi, this is G and J here. I'm Jamaica.
And I'm the aka Gerald, aka whatever you feel like calling me.
That was mad extra. Why couldn't he just have one
Cause I
name?
have I have four names actually. If you want, I've got four, but
Black men are just so extra.
whatever.
In any event, we decided we wanted to try to do a video together, but well, a PG video together. Joking. Um, we were just trying to figure out like what topic really hits close to home that we would deem, you know, relevant enough to talk about. And then we came up with the concept of fathers. And recently, I I've more or less just kind of dissolved my entire relationship with my father recently, whether he knows it or not. But I no longer have a relationship with my father. Um, and we had been working towards uh, being closer over the past maybe 2, 3 years. But, you know, 2, 3 years of being a supportive figure in no way comes near to um, making up for 20 plus years of not being a good father, a reliable person, a trustworthy person, an honest person.
I mean, I think even and some of I think you even try and even explore that idea is because I think that's one of the regrets I had because I did not have the best relationship with my dad, and at the point where I thought I was going to be able to, at least start, reconciling some things with him, he passed away, and that was one of the things. That's some of the discussions that we had is, don't let that opportunity pass. But that being said, she made the steps towards, and then he fell back into a pattern, that a very hurtful pattern, and I think that's what led to your dissolving of the relationship. You at least starting to build, because by no way, shape, or form was he in the clear.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I remember asking my father, and I think this is the most telling thing he's ever said. I remember asking him um, if he wanted me to end up with a man like him. And he actually said no. Now,
Hmm.
I think that's very telling that this person who, if you ask him and if you ask his colleagues, he'll tell you how great of a person he is, how wonderful he is for the community, how he's saved lions and tigers and bears and stuff, and the world wouldn't be revolving if it wasn't for him. He's the great African, you know. But I think it's very telling for somebody who's arrogant, who has like a level of arrogance that is beyond anything I've ever known. Somebody like that to be able to say, "No, I don't want you with somebody like me."
You know what? First of all, I think, especially with your father, I sometimes think I know what my father thought, but I think he's very disconnected from the idea that he has not been a real father. I think certain men, especially, feel like they're owed the respect of being a father just because they contributed sperm, but they don't make that connection with their children, and they take that for granted, that the things that they do, how they affect their children in their adulthood. Like, I know my father was not the most emotional person, as most West Indian men are. I would even say black men, but I think with West Indians is they're a little more detached because it's father child. They never cross that.
Throw some Africans in there.
Oh, well, same thing, and they have this disconnect, but they feel like they're owed that respect just because they're the man, and they don't make that connection with the child. They are often very stand-up. I know my dad, there'd be times I would go to him with things. I'm a very artistic person, and he would never nurture that at all, and after a while, I just would stop going to him. It's very important for men that you really build that relationship with your kids, because when you are older, they will not want to make that connection afterwards. There's going to be a point where they're like, forget it, I'm not trying anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you feel like, oh, well, how come you're not there for me? How come you're not helping me? Or you don't have any connection because you didn't build one. My little brother right now, when my dad passed, he said those things happened because he was in the house with my dad, and is literally like they were strangers. They didn't they rarely spoke. The only time my dad spoke to him was, when he was scolding. But I think that more than because the mother's always going to be there. The mother's always in most cases, because I know of a few where the mother's not, but the mother's always most of the time going to be the nurturing one. But that relationship with the father is very important, especially for men, because that's the first male that you're seeing and you want to emulate. When it comes to women, that's the first man that you're coming in contact with. So that's going to shape the relationships that your daughter is going to have with other men.
Kind of piggybacking off of that, one of the issues, you know, not delving too much into our business, but
Right.
but I think one of the issues that we struggle with, because every couple has their things, and our thing is, well, one of our things is is the way I communicate with men, and um, we had this like grandiose epiphany like a month ago where I really realized, yo, it's not that I have no respect for men, I just respect women more.
Mm.
And it's because when I think of the people who in my life have been about their business, have not used any excuses, have just, laced up their bootstraps and done whatever the hell they had to do. When I think about those people are women. Those people are my mothers. Those people are my grandmothers. Those people are my aunts, my cousins, my God, the sisters that I meet, the female friends that I have now, the Christine Jean Blaines, the Kimberlys, like just so many. I just know so many strong people. Hell, I'm even throw in somebody who, God, if anybody is a survivor, the Nikki D's. Like when I think of strong people, like these are the images that I think of I'm like immediately surrounded by. And when I think of the men that I've grown up with, I mean, I knew them as meek, I knew them as womanizing, I knew lying, I knew manipulating, I knew like those are the men that I grew up with. And so that's what I associate with men. Now I am blessed in the sense that I'm with somebody who is not that. Did you just smile? So cute. I'm with somebody who's not that, but just because he's not that, it doesn't mean that that's what I'm seeing. Like, it doesn't mean that I'm automatically going to associate him with all the positive, like, with positivity just because, he's not that. That's not what I'm seeing. Because when I first see him, I see a man.
Right.
And it definitely comes out. And I'm abrasive by nature anyway, but I know, like, I feel like every day we've had something about the way that I talk to him or the way that I communicate. And I just think there's just like this innate angst towards men.
But as upsetting as that is at times, it's like I can understand it because even not only female male relationships when it comes to dads, male male relations. Like I always had an anger towards my father because he was a very aggressive, angry person. I mean, he was very quick to use his hand, his belt, his words in a very negative way. And now when it comes to certain individuals, and I find men that have that type of temperament, I'm very quick to get angry with them. I'm very quick to get physical with them because these are feelings that I have with my dad, and I could hit my dad. Now that was the one respect I did give him. I didn't put my hands on him as many times as I wanted to.
I put my hands on my father.
Well, like I said, I've wanted to, but right now I think I express that with guys that are closer to age or that I have no relationship with that exhibit that. I'm very quick to get angry and physical with those people. Um, but see, the only difference is I don't look at every man like that. Like I have very close friends, Ishmael, my boy Chris, and these are people that I know are more like me, and I don't see them in that light. So I guess that's the difference with, how we synthesize those things. Like I don't see all men as that, but I do sense when men have that aura about them, and it doesn't sit well with me at all. So I think it just goes back to when you decide or whether the situation drops into your lap to be a father. Because let's be real, when you do the act unprotected, you're making that decision. You know, but once that decision is made for you to do that, it's very important that you take that seriously. You know, um, I don't remember who the comedian was, that parents really mess you up. Like that's.
Well, I wasn't a comedian. I was actually a poet.
What? Oh.
It wasn't Stanley Kunitz. It was some British poet. But the title of the poem was "Parents Fuck You Up," and the first line of the poem was, "Parents, they fuck you up, you know." So, I mean, they do, and